Now on BBC One, it's time for Secret Histories. This week we look at Lord Billington and one of the best kept secrets of World War II.
France, 1940, Blitzkrieg. The Nazi war machine has pushed the Allies all the way back to the French coast. Paris is about to fall. Then, the cheese-eating surrender monkeys asked Hitler for an armistice, leaving us to fight on by ourselves. Following the brilliant tactical withdrawal from Dunkirk, the British Army returned to England and prepared to fight another day. But one man decided to stay and fight alone. From behind the German lines, Lord Billington carried out his own private war, striking terror into the hearts of the Nazi soldiers. The outstanding success of Sir Keith's early actions came when he managed to strike a blow against the Little Corporal himself. Embarrassingly for the Nazis, Sir Keith struck on the very occasion of the signing of the armistice. Someone has crapped in my boot! Scheiße! Of course, the iPhone footage was never shown in the newsreels. However, Hitler had no option but to cancel all engagements until a new pair of boots could be delivered from Berlin. In Great Britain, Prime Minister Winston Churchill was so impressed by Lord Billington's achievements, he began drafting a speech with many references to events then taking place in France. We shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall bob in their boots on the beaches. We shall bob in their boots on the landing grounds. We shall bob in their boots in the fields and in the streets. We shall bob in their boots in the hills. And we shall never surrender, and even if, which I do not for a moment believe, this island or a large part of it was subjugated and starving, then our empire beyond the seas, armed and guarded by the British fleet, would carry on the struggle, bobbing in their boots until in God's good time the new world, with all its power and might, steps forth to the rescue, and bobs in every German boot that shall ever step foot on this sacred soil. Rarely spoken about in polite circles, boot bobbing has in fact been around for many, many years. Looking back through the Billington family tree, we will find that the earliest example dates right back to the English Civil War. The tactic was often used by one Bulstrode Billington, pictured here at the Siege of Basing House. Bulstrode's greatest achievement came at the Battle of Marston Moor. Most historians attribute the Royalist defeat at Marston Moor to a lack of cooperation between Prince Rupert of the Rhine and the Marquis of Newcastle, often citing Prince Rupert's inability to start the action until he had received reinforcements from York. The two armies faced each other across the open moor, the Royalist forces showing no sign of making the first move. However, as the day wore on, the Allied army grew stronger by the hour, with more reinforcements coming in to tip the balance in Parliament's favour. Why didn't the Royalists attack? What was stopping the dashing young cavalier from ordering his troops into action? Secret Histories can now reveal that on the eve of battle and under the cover of darkness, Bulstrode Billington and a trusted colleague crossed over into enemy lines. They located Prince Rupert's lodgings and then struck without mercy. On the morning of the battle, Rupert ordered his manservant to bring his boots. What happened next was truly horrific. For over 10 hours, entire companies of soldiers worked in shifts attempting to retrieve Rupert's boots. Over 60 soldiers died, and many more went insane. By the time Rupert's boots were finally restored to him, it was 7:30 in the evening. He led his troops in a gallant charge, but the Royalist cause in the north was lost forever. Bulstrode's actions at Marston Moor did not go unnoticed, drawing praise from Oliver Cromwell himself.
I'd rather a plain russet-coated captain, prepared to vent his bowels in support of the cause, and loves what he does, than that which you call a gentleman, and is nothing else.
After the Restoration in 1660, Bulstrode entered the service of King Charles II. During the Anglo-Dutch Wars, Bulstrode served at sea. It wasn't long before he adapted his tactics to naval warfare. He was personally credited with the destruction of several enemy vessels, all of which are said to have caught fire and exploded after one of his nocturnal visits. Great rewards followed, including a knighthood from the king, and Sir Bulstrode became the first in a long line of lordly Billingtons. (1941). Sir Keith had now been active behind enemy lines for just over a year. In Paris alone, the Germans were forced to use huge amounts of manpower simply to protect the commandant's boots. They printed thousands of wanted posters offering huge sums of money to anyone giving information leading to Lord Billington's arrest. However, Sir Keith proved to be as elusive as the famous Pimpernel himself. Lord Billington now started recruiting volunteers from within the ranks of the Marquis. These men underwent vigorous training in the art of boot bobbing. The training taught them to be thoroughly ruthless. They would carry out their attacks with great stealth and cunning, many of them benefiting from Sir Keith's personal tutelage. Winter training also ensured that no German boots were ever safe, regardless of the season. Despite causing major embarrassment to the Nazis, Lord Billington wanted his raids to be of greater military value. He longed to reproduce the same devastating results as those achieved by his ancestor, Sir Bulstrode Billington. Using formulae passed down through the centuries, Sir Keith began working with the renowned French chemist Professor Petri-Lidiche. The aim was to reproduce the potion known in the 17th century as Billington's Bowel Burster. Despite many setbacks, the two men persevered in their search for the correct potion. And of course, Sir Keith insisted on testing each new batch personally. Eventually, the two men achieved the success that they were searching for. Taken in small doses over a period of time, the potion would transform each boot bobber into a one-man toxic killing machine. The potion was soon being supplied to bobbing units throughout the entire country. The stage was now set. Normandy! The Allies launched the largest amphibious operation in the history of mankind. Once the troops have landed, the aim is to get them off the beaches as quickly as possible, and to begin advancing inland before the Germans can react with the overwhelming weight of their panzer divisions. It's no secret that Rommel's plan is to halt the invaders at the beaches and then throw them back into the sea. However, Adolf Hitler has ordered that the panzers be held back from the coast and may only be used upon his direct order. This, of course, allowed the Allies valuable time to establish a beachhead. This was also the time Lord Billington decided to strike. On the eve of the invasion, Sir Keith and his boot bobbers went into action. And now they were targeting more than just the enemy's boots. When Adolf Hitler finally gave the order for his heavy armour to attack, the panzer crews were in for quite a shock. From their start positions, many of the panzer divisions would never reach the front lines. Historians commonly attribute their destruction to the Allies' overwhelming air superiority. However, with the recent release of top-secret documents, we can now reveal the truth about what really happened. After carrying out a personal inspection, Rommel quickly realised that the battle for Normandy was lost. Entire panzer divisions had been rendered useless. The Nazis' days were now numbered. As the lights went on and the celebrations ensued, it was decided that Lord Billington's contribution to the victory must remain top secret. Privately, recognition of his exploits came at the highest level when he and a select number of boot bobbers were invited to spend the day at Buckingham Palace by the King himself. After years behind enemy lines, Lord Billington could now put Sir Bulstrode's potion back on the shelf and finally retire to peace and contentment. Well done, sir, and thank you for your service. The current Lord Billington is more at home on a tropical beach than he is taking out enemy tanks. Even so, he and a few close friends have become involved in World War II reenactment in order to pay tribute to his famous predecessor. Today, Bulstrode's potion is safely locked away, but Sir Keith still indulges in the occasional spot of light-hearted boot bobbing purely for the fun of it. Recently, it has been rumoured that Lord Billington is once more in the service of the King and operating behind enemy lines. Government officials emphatically deny that this is the case. However, if history has taught us anything, it is that no one's boots are ever entirely safe.